Good morning, YouTube, and everybody out there who follows me. Apparently, I have an audience. Just thought I would check in with everybody today. It's a rather nice morning. Got my hot donut shop blend coffee from Aldi. Good stuff. Little strong. But anyway, today marks the first day that we haven't had rain all day long. My God, it rained for days and days. It had to have been at least a week we got rain. I have to look back at the records. Ooh, my light's doing the rave flicker because my Keurig is keeping something warm in there. But yeah, went down to the state park. I actually have some video I need to upload. I'll be doing that pretty soon. But the water was over the spillway. I mean, it was literally going over the spillway across the road down into the cement bowl and down into the creek, and it was a good maybe two of these phones wide above the spillway. It was pretty strong. It almost had the fishing pier at the little bait store and all that down there underwater. It's at Mineral Wells State Park, and it had part of the docks going out to the from the boat ramp. It had those underwater, and the water was crazy. It looked like the waves on it were like if you've ever been to Lake Conroe when it gets rough. It was rough, and Lake Mineral Wells is not that huge. But we drove around, we took some video, took some photos of all that. That was pretty crazy. It looked like the emergency spillway at the Oroville Dam, all that water that was pouring over the top of that. And there's cracks in that thing about a foot below the top of the spillway wall, and water was like pissing through those cracks in that concrete. Now, anybody that knows, water will scour something out if it goes long enough, and that's kind of unsettling because those cracks run along the whole length of the top of that spillway wall. Enough that if that were to break, it would drop the lake a good maybe foot and a half. Think about the millions and millions of gallons of water that would very quickly release if that was to break. But anyway, that was a little cause for concern. It's a beautiful park. I hope they fix that. I really hope they fix that because that could one day turn very, very bad for people down the way. To have that lake empty off about a foot of water suddenly, a foot to a foot and a half of water, and just boom, just like that. That all goes into the creek. God, that's a lot of water. But today has been a rather quiet day. I don't know if you can see out. Well, you may not be able to see out there, but it's a little overcast still. It's still trying to clear off, but all the rain has finally stopped. There's going to be so much grass cutting. So much grass cutting. So that's my plan for the coming week cuz once we get this little bit of sun back, if we get any, if it stays cloudy, it may not cuz it'll stay coolish. We also had our first little cold snap during all this rain. The temperatures got down to the mid to low 40s, so it gave us our opportunity to drag the heat out. You can see over there by I don't know if you can see that or not, over by the window. We brought out our little radiators. Now, here's a thing that I figured out. Heat pumps are garbage. This house has a heat pump. As long as the temperature is above about 45, it can keep up. But when it gets below 45 and down into the 30s, those electric heaters, that's the only way to efficiently heat this house. We'll actually end up spending less money running those radiator style heaters than we will running that big heat pump. Not only that, but they'll keep the house, excuse me, got a little itch. They will keep the house. They will keep the house at a reasonable temperature while that heat pump. This is a weird thing about how some heat pumps work. Number one, what it is basically, if you take a window unit air conditioner, it's cold on one side, hot on the other. It's picking up the heat out of your house and it's dumping it to the outside. If you put a mechanism in there that makes it turn around that operation. It picks up heat from the outside and dumps the heat inside. Then you've basically got a heat pump. You take your window unit, turn it around, turn it on, heat your house. That's basically what it is in a nutshell. Only a heat pump can be switched back and forth. It has a reversing valve inside there that's driven by a solenoid that does that job. Well, when you get down past a certain point, there's only so much heat you can pull out of the air. And then those big heat strips, that big electric furnace up there in your attic, in that thing, in that air handler, it cuts on, and your meter goes from going wow, wow, wow to going wow, 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 wow. And yeah, you get a $500 electric bill. Yeah, they are pretty much the baby of the electric companies. They were pushing for those things to be installed everywhere at one point in time. It's efficient. It'll efficiently liberate the money from your wallet when it's cold enough to actually have to use it. So that's the heat pump. I've never seen a heat pump that ever, at least an air to air one, that ever worked efficiently or worth a crap. It's like, if you really want to know, it's like a Swiss Army knife. A Swiss Army knife can do a lot of things, but it doesn't do them well. Well, a heat pump it can heat and it can cool, but it does neither one really well. It's mediocre at every task it's capable of. So that's what we did. When we got that first humongous electric bill, we were like, holy crap. And I had the thought on this. I said, that thing's drawing quite a few thousand watts to do what it's doing, and it's costing us a fortune. Let's just close off all the rooms and go get space heaters. And our bill dropped from 500 something bucks that one month. It was like 560 something bucks for a month of heating. This isn't even a 2,000 square foot house, and it's well insulated. But anytime you got a giant compressor and giant coils and all that stuff spinning and just doing a mediocre job, we went down and we went ahead and we got those and set them all up in each room. And I had a couple of those Mister Heaters for when it got brutally cold, like the freezing days. We managed to keep this house 70 degrees, and our bill went from 560 at its peak a month down to 280 running those heaters. So there you go. That in itself tells you, that tells you right there how crappy a heat pump is. But yeah, we got all those out and we hooked them up and we tried them out this week. Everything's running great. We had one was a little loopy. The thermostat kind of crapped out on, hey, it's a Walmart heater. What do you expect? It's good for a season, maybe two, and then you're going to buy another one. It's still cheaper than paying that electric bill with that heat pump. Mm. Ooh, little reflux. That wasn't good. Anyway, so my other half, she's sleeping in there, and I'm just up here having some coffee, and we're thinking about lunchtime or so. We're going to go down to Pizza Hut, and we're going to have the buffet. Because Pizza Hut's good. There's other places that are good, but you know, there's a lot of fond memories of Pizza Hut. And if any of you are my age, that was kind of the family thing, man. Get all the kids in the car. When I was a kid, I was one of them kids in the car. We rolled on down to Pizza Hut, man. We had the pizza buffet. Remember the old triangle shaped windows they used to have? I don't know if they still do, but this one up here doesn't. But the old Pizza Huts had those wedge shaped windows. It's kind of a funny side shoot to that. There was a Pizza Hut down in Old Town Spring years ago, and not years ago, it was a few years ago, and they had the old style building with the wedge windows. Guess what it is now? It's a church. They sold to a church. So I'm like, so when you go to this church, do you have this overwhelming urge to eat a pizza? Is there like this subconscious cue when you see the windows and the fittings and everything? The subconscious cue that you want pizza. It was a pizza place. There was a Pizza Hut before that pizza place. Another place bought it out, and they had pretty good pizza. We used to go down there and hang around. But later today, I also plan to go up on the hill after all of this water, all of this water, and we may get some more in a few days. They say it's going to start up again. It's the most water I've ever seen standing anywhere, and the most water I've ever seen in the lake going out of the lake. It's the first time I've ever seen the spillway actually operate. So I'm going to go up to the hill and throw some boots on because I know the mud's going to be thick up there. Me and my friend, we usually go up there and we see how much water the animals have left to drink up there, and see what it's a beautiful place. If you've seen any of my other videos that I had on that, we call it Coyote Hill because if you camp up there, there are not many animals that you hear, but there are coyotes up there. And it's interesting. God, this coffee's strong. For donut shop, it almost tastes like that French roast stuff they peddle. But anyway, went up there, we'd camp up there and the coyotes would be all over. You'd hear them on the top of the hill on the other side. That hill's probably about a half mile across and a quarter mile wide. It's a big oblong hill, just down the street this way to the west of town, and got permission from the caretaker and the property owner to camp up there. And there's an old slab where a building used to be years ago. And all it is that's all it is a slab, but it's a great place to pitch your tents and test your gear. And we go up there and we test all kinds of camping gear up there to see how it works and how good it works. Made some nice discoveries. I've got a few things that I carry in my pack now. But very nice place. If any of you out there watching in my family or my friends who know me and who visit me, we'll have to go up and camp sometime. I have one friend. He goes by the name of Sticks online, and I've been promising him that I'd take him up there to camp. I got two little tents and a bunch of cooking gear, and we'll haul it up there and make the old school try. Hopefully there won't be too much rain. Rain is all right once you get there. It's the beauty of it. Rain is all right when you're camping once you get there. But it really sucks to have to set up your stuff in a wet environment from the get-go because number one, you got water under your tent. Even if you have a tarp, and we do have that, and you put the tent on the tarp, water is an interesting critter. It finds a way, and you'll have it in your tent if your tarp is got even one or two pinholes in it. You're pretty much SOL. The best way is set your campsite up while it's dry because the tent and everything is covering that spot, and water is less likely to intrude. And the only thing that sucks is you got to pack down wet gear if you get caught in the rain. But you put your tent together in a dry location when you get down and let it dry out before fully packing it. And as they say, never pack a wet tent. So anyway, that's way down there, and I've gone so far down the rabbit hole. But mostly, I just wanted to check in with everybody, say hi to everyone, see how you guys are doing. Have you guys floated away? I know this rain was affecting most of the state of Texas, as well as a few states to the northeast of us, because what had happened, let me put my coffee down. We had this, I don't know if you can see it right on your screen because it's going to reverse everything, west, east. It was like this near Mexico and then through Texas and then up out of Texas to the north. So it was like a big S turn the way the jet stream was pulling the weather. And to the south of it and on it, you had all this rain and just filth. To the north of it was clear. A lot of people in the north, they've been high and dry. They've been having good sunny weather. But along that jet stream, all the way through Texas and then up to the northeast, everybody that was under that or to the south of that was just having horrible, horrible rain. And all this was going on right as Mitchell came ashore. And Mitchell kind of got absorbed into that atmospheric river or jet stream, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of people got way more. If you look at all the flood warnings, man, everywhere those clouds were, the streams are outlined in red and everything around, it's all flood warnings. So I'm hoping all of you guys are doing okay out in those areas. And if any of you in my audience are in that, tell me what happened. Tell me how bad it got. I mean, here in Mineral Wells, it didn't get so bad, but I'm pretty sure down around Houston and Beaumont and Jasper, Kirbyville, Lufkin, all those areas. I can tell you from experience, Kirbyville, Newton, Jasper, and areas around there, Silsby and whatnot. All those areas they flood, and it's not like a little stream out of the banks. When you have big rain like this, it's biblical flooding, like water, like a vastly rapid moving lake roaring along as far as the eye can see to the horizon flooding. So, yeah, I'm wondering if that happened because I think it was year before last, March, it got that bad. Um, Toledo Bend, Toledo Bend, they didn't really start discharging the dam until it was right on them. And man, Kirbyville liked to wash away and all that other stuff. They had the spillways on the Toledo Bend Reservoir open, and that water was blasting out as big around as the spillway sideways and going down out of there. The lake was this close to going over the dam, man, and they were discharging as much water as they could possibly let out of there. There's video of that. I think March 2017. I think that was the year that happened. And it's like I said, the town was a lake. The park was underwater. There was a hotel. It got washed. It got flooded, and it was just they had to abandon it. There was no getting it back. But there's a lot of that. So I'm just wondering if you guys have had that level of water this time, because the amount of rain we got here has been truly massive. It hasn't been like torrential except in places, but we've been getting it over a long, long time. And it's just, if you look outside back when it was going on, the water was getting deeper. The little river gutter type things that were designed to channel the water down the sides of the street off the hills and stuff to the sewer or storm drains. Even when it was mildly raining yesterday, it was like not too bad, but the things were. Oh, I got a message. How about that? The things were like two rivers either side of each road, just blasting along, carrying mud and every other kind of thing down there. So we got our share. I don't think we have a drought down here anymore. But anyway, that's just my video for today. A little check in. Um, I know I say a lot. It's interesting when you put yourself on the spot to speak to a lot of people. It's different than when you compose it, and even then, I kind of screw up. But anyway, who cares? You guys have a good morning and stay dry if you're not dry yet. If the rain's still falling in your area, y'all have a good one. Take care, YouTube.